Well, hello, Algebra 1. Today we are moving on to 1.4, graphing and writing inequalities. An inequality is a statement that two quantities are not equal. It could mean that A is less than B. This is our less than symbol, per se. It could be that A is greater than B, greater than. It could be that A is less than or equal to B, less than or equal to. That little sign tells me it's or equal to. A is greater than or equal to B. This is our greater than or equal to sign. As long as it's saying that A is not equal to B. This is just meaning not equal to B. So an inequality simply says that A is not equal to B, but A can be less than, greater than, less than, equal to, or greater than or equal to. The solution of an inequality is any value of the variable that makes that inequality true. In order to solve, we're going to treat the inequality symbol just like we would an equal sign. And then we solve by isolating the variable. So we have 2p is greater than 8, just like the equal sign. I would get p by itself by dividing both sides by 2. And then p, keep that sign, is greater than 8 divided by 2, which is 4. You want to read it in terms of the variable. So in this case, p is greater than 4. So p is greater than 4. I would not say 4 is less than p, but always p is greater than 4. If I look at number 2, this is an addition sign. So we have 9 is less than or equal to x plus 3. Well, to get x by itself, we know we do the opposite of addition. We would subtract 3 on both sides. So that 6 is less than or equal to x. Boom. Now, when we're writing this, when we're saying this, as we are done, our answer is x is greater than or equal to 6. Whenever we read it, we say x is, p is. Always lead with the variable. So that's how we solve, like we would any other day. We solve an inequality. Now to graph an inequality, first we're going to solve it. Then we're going to draw the number line and label it. The solution must be on the number line. At that number line, we're going to have a circle, either an open circle or a closed circle. All right, so we have B is less than negative 1.5. B is all by itself. The left side is simplified and the right side, so there's nothing to really solve. So then I'm going to graph this inequality. I'm going to put my solution on the number line. Doesn't matter what else is there, but the solution has got to be on the number line. And then I'm going to think, do I have an open circle? Less than or greater than? This will give us an open circle. Or will I have a closed circle? The less than or greater than, or the equal, greater than or equal to, those will be in closed circle. Or it could actually be a bracket. Open circle or parentheses, closed circle or a bracket. So because my sign is less than, I'm going to have a open circle on that negative 1.5. And then maybe to the right, you want to put negative 1.4 and negative 1.6. I'm okay with that as long as your answer, the solution, 1.5, is on the number line. So this is where it's important. B is less than negative 1.5. And so if it's less than, we're going to draw the arrow to the left. Come on down here. Oh, I do have it here. So step 4, you're going to draw an arrow in the direction. Less than, less is going to go to the left. Greater than, the is going to go to the right. Because we're saying every number greater than, bigger than, or every number less than. And then you want to substitute to check your solution. So that means, here I am, going to the left. If B is less than negative 1.5, that includes negative 50, negative 5 million, negative 500. It is literally every number that is lower than negative 1.5. If, number 2, 8 is greater than or equal to 8, I'm going to look and I'm going to put 8 on the number line. I don't care what other number is there, but the solution 8 must be on the number line. Then do you want to think, will you have an open circle or a closed circle? Well, because of the or equal to sign that's right here, it tells me I'm going to have a closed circle. And because R is greater than 8, my arrow's going to go to the right. So R is any number greater than 8. It could be 9. It could be 10. It could be 500. It could be 900. But R is greater than 8. Let's look at number 3. G is not by itself. So here I have a one-step equation I have to solve for. To get G by itself, I'm going to add 5 on both sides so that G is less than or equal to 11. I solved it. So now I'm going to graph it. On my number line, the solution must be there. So I'm going to put an 11 on here. I don't mind what else is there, but 11 must be on the number line because that's the solution. So then you think, look at your sign. Will I have an open circle or a closed circle? Well, G is less than or equal to, this or equal to sign tells me it's going to be a closed circle. Or a bracket. Let me actually put a bracket on this one. I'm going to go ahead and use the bracket. And then G is less than. So because G is less than or equal to, less than, then my arrow is going to be going to the left. What is this saying? Every number less than or equal to 11 will work. So will 11 work? Yes. 11 is in fact equal to G. 10, yep, that's less than 11. 8, yes, that's less than 11. It will work. What about negative 500? Yes, that's less than 11. It will work. What about positive 500? No, that's greater than 11. That won't work. What about negative 50? That will work because it's less than or equal to 11. So every number down here will be fair game. Go ahead and pause, and I want you to try number 4 all by yourself. Let's see what you come up with. All right, now that you have tried it, to get M alone, you should have divided both sides by 5. So that 4 is greater than M, which means when you solve this and you want to write it, M is less than 4. That's my solution. M is less than 4. On my number line then, I must have the number 4. You could put your 5 and your 3, that's fine, but you must have the number 4. Now you look at your sign. Are you going to have an open circle or a closed circle? Because it's not or equal to, you could have an open circle or you can have a parentheses. You don't need both, but it depends on which one you use. I wanted you to see the parentheses as well. So if m is less than 4, that means my arrow is going to go to the left. M is less than 4. M is every number lower than 4. So it could be 0. It could be negative 552. It could be negative a million. Doesn't matter as long as it's less than 4. Keep in mind, 4 is not a solution to this because it's not saying it could be equal to 4. It's saying that it must be less than 4. If you use the open circle, then you would just have put that to the side. Either of them are okay. You wouldn't see both. So now let's write the solution to this inequality. They didn't give me a variable, so I'm going to go ahead and use M for misread. So I know that my solution is negative 2, and I'm using a variable. So M, and then my solution, which is negative 2. So now I need to think, would it be less than? Is my M going to be less than or greater than that negative 2? Well, I see it going to the left, the arrow. Because this arrow is going to the left, I know that my M is going to be less than negative 2. And then it's a closed circle. So this is going to be less than or equal to negative 2. That's the solution. M is less than or equal to negative 2 because it's on the left side. Let's look at this one here with the parentheses. I see that my solution is at 2.5. You know what? Let me go with R. R for misread again. And my solution is 2.5. Well, here's my arrow is going to the left so that I know that R is less than 2.5. This is a parentheses. And so because it's a parentheses, it means that it's just the less than symbol and not a less than or equal to. So then my answer for this is R is less than 2.5. Let me go ahead and I'll try this one here because my arrow is going to the right. I know that I see a bracket. I'm going to go with R again for misread, and then my solution is 7. So it's R something and 7. I see the arrow going to the right. Because it's going to the right, I know that it's greater. So I know the R must be greater than 7. 8, 9, 10 is going in that direction. And then I want to look, this is a bracket, not a parentheses. So it must be greater than or equal to 7. Go ahead and pause and try out the next 1, 2, 3 by yourself. All right, now that you are back, on this next one up top, I'm just going to go from top to bottom. I see 20. Well, I know my solution then is 20. And I'm going to again use R for misread. And my solution is 20. I see that it's going to the right. So I know that this is greater. R is greater than 20. Open circle. So it's just greater than 20. On the next one here, going with R again for misread, and my solution is negative 4. I could tell from the number line. This is going to the left. So if it's going to the left, I know that R is less than. And this is an open circle, so R is just less than negative 4. On this one, this last one, using R again for misread, my solution is negative 40. I see this going to the left, so R is less than. It's a closed circle, so it's less than or equal to negative 40. So now that we have gotten that portion down, I want us to talk about how we would write this in a notation, right? So when I look here at number 5, let's call this number 5, number 6. I look here at number 5. I can see that my arrow is going to the left. That's really going all the way to infinity in the negative realm, right? So negative a billion, negative a trillion, every single number lower than -4. So it's coming in from the left. We're going to have a parenthesis to show that it's coming from there. And it's coming from the negative side. So it's coming from negative infinity up until we get to -4. And when we get to -4, it's an open circle. So it's going to be a parenthesis. So the notation, all the numbers in this set would include every number from negative infinity to -4. And that's how you would notate it. You're like, what? Let's see that again. Here's number 6, coming in from the left on the negative side. So every number from the negative, and that side is always going to be an open parenthesis, every negative number, and then it's going to stop here at the -40. Keep in mind this -40 is a closed circle. It includes it. So you won't have a parenthesis on the -40. You're going to have a bracket on that -40. And you've seen the bracket right here that showed you that it is included in the solution. So as a notation, this is saying every number from negative infinity until -40, those are in the solution set. Let's do it again. So here on number 1, 2, 3, let's look at number 4. We see that we're starting at 7 and the arrow is going to the right. So R is greater than or equal to 7. It's every number to the right. This, therefore, is going off into positive infinity. Every number to the right. And it's starting at 7. So my notation is a bracket because it's included, like the actual problem. I'm starting at 7, and I'm going towards every number in positive infinity. Notice that infinity is a positive sign, and there's a parenthesis on the end. So that's how I would notate R is greater than or equal to 7. I'm going to do one more with you, and then I want you to try, just for kicks, and see how you do on number 1 and number 2. So number 3, it's saying to me that R is less than 2.5. So 2.5 parentheses, and it's everything to the left. Well, if you're going to the left, you're going to end up in negative infinity. You're going to go into the negative realm. So for this, you would have negative infinity, and it's going to positive 2.5 because that's the end point. And then it's close with a parentheses because it was an open circle, or it's just less than, not less than or equal to. Go ahead and pause now and try out number 1 and number 2. Thank you so much for trying. I hope you came up with the right answer. Number 2, R is greater than 20. So it's going to the right. I'm starting at 20 and going to the right. So I would have starting at 20, and then I'm going to the positive infinity realm. It's every number greater than 20 forever. That would be your answer here in the notation. And then number 1, you have -2, and it's going to the left. M is less than or equal to -2. So you're coming from the negative infinity side, and then you would stop here at -2, and it's a closed circle, so you would have a bracket. Right? And that's how you would notate it. It depends on what the question is asking you for. Sometimes they're only asking you for the solution. Sometimes they want you to solve and graph. Sometimes they want you to do the notation. Sometimes they want you to solve, graph, and notate. So this was simply being able to write it and graph it. Now we're going to add a little bit more oomph to it, and we're going to solve it. Now the next weird thing, not weird, but interesting thing, more challenging thing to remember is when you're solving an inequality, yes, it's like solving a regular equation. However, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign. So it's only when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number that you must also flip the sign or the symbol. So let's look at number one. We have negative 3x is being divided. Negative 3x is greater than negative 27. So to get x by itself, you would divide by negative 3. See how that equation comes right back to us? So now x is, flip side, negative 27 divided by negative 3, which is 9. X is less than 9. Notice the sign, it changed. The sign was flipped. The sign was flipped because I divided by negative 3. And so x is less than 9. If x is less than 9, what number must be on the number line? Talk back with me. Yep, a 9 must be on the number line. Open circle or close circle? Open circle because it's just less than. And then arrow to the left or to the right? Arrow to the left because the x is less than 9. In a notation, what does it look like? Coming from the left, negative infinity. And you're stopping at the 9, open parentheses. All right, let's come on over to number 2. Ooh la la. 2/3 r is less than 6. Well, to get r by itself, it's being multiplied by the fraction 2/3. So you would divide, which means you multiply by the reciprocal 3/2. So that r is less than 3/6 is 18/2, which is 9 again. R is less than 9. Let me simplify this for you. This is 18/2, and that's how I have 9. Now you might say, Miss Reed, we didn't flip the sign. We did not flip the sign because 2/3 was a positive number. So when I multiplied by a positive number. I did not have to flip the sign. I kept it. So what number now, if I'm going to graph it, must be on the number line? Correct. Still a 9 must be on the number line. Will I have a parentheses or a bracket? I would have a parentheses. And if r is less than 9, will my arrow go to the left, less than, or to the right? It's going to go to the left because r is less than 9. Let's look at number 3. Do I want to do 3? I'll do 3 and 4, and then I'll let you do 5 and 6. All right, so for number 3, I have negative 5m is less than or equal to 50. To get m all by itself, I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. When I do that, m is, I divided by negative 5. I'm going to flip the sign. And 50 divided by negative 5 is negative 10. So that m is greater than or equal to negative 10. Why did I flip the sign on this one? I flipped the sign because I divided by negative 5. When I multiply or divide by a negative number, I'm going to flip the sign. So on my number line, I'm definitely going to have negative 10. I'm going to have an open circle or closed circle. close circle because it's a greater than. And then will my arrow go to, close circle, I put open. Will my arrow go to the right or to the left? M is greater than, remember saying in M, negative 10. Correct. It's going to go to the right. Let's try number 4. For number 4, I see that 4k is greater than or equal to negative 24. In order to get k by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 4 so that k is greater than or equal to negative 6. Did I flip the sign? No. So you must say, but Miss Reed, this was a negative 24. Why didn't we flip the sign? I did not flip the sign because the number I divided by was a positive number. I divided by positive 4. So it really matters the coefficient on the k, if that's positive or if that's negative. That's when I would flip the sign. It doesn't matter whether this number is a positive or negative. It just matters if the number you're dividing by or multiplying by is positive or negative. So I would keep the sign. On the number line, I would have to have negative 6. If I have a parentheses or bracket, which one do you think we would have? Correct. We're going to have a bracket because this is greater than or equal to. And because k is greater than or equal to negative 6, my arrow is going to go to the right. Go ahead and pause and try 5 and 6 on your own. All right, now that we've tried 5 and 6, you would have multiplied both sides here by negative 5. So that 15 is greater than or equal to x. In this case, I'm going to flip the sign because I'm multiplying by a negative 5. And so x is less than or equal to 15. 15 is on my number line. I'm going to go with a closed circle. And because x is left, you should have had an arrow to the left. On number 6, you would multiply both sides by 2. M divided by 2, the opposite of division is multiplication. So I multiply both sides by 2 so that m is greater than or equal to negative 24. I am not going to flip the sign because the 2 is positive. Negative 24 must be on the number line. Let me go with a bracket because it's greater than or equal to. And then my arrow goes to the right because it's greater than or equal to. Let's go ahead and notate these. If I notate these, actually I want you to pause and do the notations on your own. All right, now that you've done the notations, it's coming from the left, so you should have negative infinity all the way to 9 with a parentheses. For the notation here, you're going to the right, so I would start at negative 10 with a bracket because it's a closed circle, and I would go to positive infinity, parentheses. Number 4, I'm going towards the right, positive infinity, and then I'm starting at negative 6. It is a bracket where I'm starting, so that's my notation. Number 5, x is less than or equal to 15. So I'm coming in from the left. That's negative infinity. And then this is 15 with a closed bracket. And lastly, number 6, I'm going to the right. So I'm starting on negative 24 with a closed bracket, and I'm going to positive infinity. So now we're just going to, now that we remember that little rule there, let's solve some equations with the inequalities. In order to solve, I'm going to solve like I would any other day. I'm going to go ahead and simplify the left, simplify the right, and then move across the inequality symbol. It's the same as moving across the equal sign, but it's an inequality symbol. And remember, we're going to flip that sign if needed at the end for the most part. So here we have -2 and there's a parentheses. Let's simplify the left. I get -6x plus 2, and that's greater than 20. Now it should look like a two-step equation. I'm going to -2 on both sides, so that -6x is greater than 18. And then I'm going to solve for x, the last step. -6x, I would divide both sides by -6. Oh, I'm dividing by a negative number, which means I'm also going to have to flip the sign. It is only in this position that I flip the sign. And then 18 divided by -6, 3 6 is 18, is -3. So that x is less than -3. Let's put this on a number line. What number am I going to have? -3. Open circle or close circle? Open circle. And if x is less than, it's going to go to the left. All right, I want you to pause now. You're going to try number 2 and number 3. All right, now that you've tried it, number 2, you should have gotten that x is greater than 37.5. On your number line, 37.5, you can have an open circle or a parentheses, arrow to the right. Number 3, make sure you distribute, simplify the left, then simplify the right, move across the equal sign. I think I was supposed to point out here too. Number 3, I divided by -10, so I flipped the sign. Here on number 2, I did not. I divided by a positive number, so I didn't flip the sign. But if you had moved the 5.15 first, that's fine, but you would have flipped the sign. However, you would still come up with the answer, x is greater than 37.5. And for number 3, x is greater than or equal to -1.9. Close circle on the -1.9 and the arrow to the right. Let's come on down to solving many solutions or no solution, because those are still concepts as well, and they are possible. So remember, if the variables cancel out and the end is true, many solution. If it's not true, then there's no solution. So let's look at number 1. We would distribute, simplifying the left and the right. So we get -6x minus 5, and that's greater than -6x plus 9. Then you would move those x's together. You add 6x on both sides. They cancel out. Now you have -5 is greater than +9. Now you want to ask yourself, is that true? We know it's not equal to, but is -5 greater than 9? The answer is no, it's not true. And because it's not true, then your answer is no solution. There is no solution to that problem that would make it true. Let's look at number 4. We have 4x minus 5, simplifying the left. It's already simplified. On the right side, we have 4x. What's that? 2, 3, 6. -6. So now I'm going to cancel out those x's. I always try to get rid of those variables first. And then I have -5 is less than -6. Is -5 less than -6? All right, so the answer to that is nope, it is not. -5 on a number line is in fact greater than -6. And so the answer for this is also no solution. Let's try solving number 3. For number 3, we have 2x minus 5 is less than 5x minus 22. I think I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to get a 5. Let's change this here to a 5. I'm sorry, I want to prove a point. So I will minus 5x on both sides. And of course, those would cancel out. So now that I have negative 5, it would be less than negative 22. And is negative 5 less than negative 22? The answer to that is still false. Negative 5 is in fact greater than negative 22. And so this is actually no solution. Now, if it was true, then you would have many solution or all real numbers. All right, this is it. I know this was a long one. I went into detail with the signs. Hopefully you did all the practice, because remember, in order for you to learn mathematics, we must do the mathematics. Till next time.